Welcome, Roberto. Thanks for taking the time to do this today.
Thanks, Jesse. I really appreciate it.
So, Roberto, you're the founder and CEO of Inverlag, a property development and hospitality management company registered in El Salvador. You also have several decades of experience in property development and the hotel industry outside of El Salvador in Asia. But maybe to start, can you give a quick summary of what Inverlag does and what you're building in El Salvador?
Yes, we started a construction company, a partner and I, a Korean, in the Philippines back in 1993, over 30 years ago. We started doing small construction subcontracts, mostly for Japanese firms. We did pretty well. People liked our performance, and people started trusting us with bigger projects. Eventually, we ended up doing semiconductor plants as a general contractor. And I decided that it was time to move forward and started to develop on our own. That's when we started building apartments. And moved up to commercial space, office space, retail space, and eventually hotels in the Philippines. And this myself being from El Salvador, I decided that it was time to go back and bring some of our knowledge, and we decided to invest in the hospitality industry in El Salvador. And we were introduced to this magnificent property at the airport. It's quite large. It's 9 hectares, about 90,000 square meters, or 21 acres. And this is where Inverlag, our property owner, developer, and builder, has decided to embark on the construction of a hotel, which is a franchise from the Hilton Group. It's Hampton by Hilton, and this is an excellent. We believe this is a great time to be building hospitality infrastructure in El Salvador.
That's great. No, it certainly looks that way. And this isn't a completely new build, right? You're not starting from zero, because I understand that you got to start in 2017 as well. So can you give us a little bit of the history of the project?
Yes, we were invited by the government of El Salvador in 2017. At that time, our interest was to build a resort, a beach resort, and we were introduced to a property at the airport, and we became very interested. This is when we contracted the services of Horwath International, which is a consultancy firm known worldwide in the hospitality industry, and they confirmed our what we thought we had in front of us, which was a great opportunity. And in 2017, we decided to sign a contract with the government of El Salvador, with the entity that manages the airports and seaports. And in 2017, we did that, and we went ahead and spoke to Hilton and told them we were interested in building one of their brands in the country. They welcomed the idea. We engaged the services of a well-known, reputable architectural firm in El Salvador, which is the same one that also designed the latest terminal that was open only last year. Their name is Aviles. And by the year 2019, we were ready with permits, all the permits necessary to build. And we started construction towards the end of 2019 The pandemic, due to the pandemic, we had to pause this development, the construction, which was already full underway. And it was until last year that we decided that it was time. We were waiting for airport activity to be at pre-pandemic levels, and this is that's when we decided to proceed with going back to the project, and that's when we decided to speak to Bitfinex about the possibilities of raising capital by tokenization.
And how long do you think it'll take to complete the project, and when will the hotel become operational?
Yes, we should be, the construction should be completed within approximately 10 to 11 months, and give or take another month, 4 weeks to 6 weeks for pre-opening operations, training our staff. We should be fully operational by the year 2025, next year, July.
That's amazing.
Less about a year from now. This is the opportunity that is presented to the investing public. Rarely there is an opportunity where a hotel, normally the gestation period of this type of development takes 3 to 5 years. This one, since it started before the pandemic, we are only a year away from opening our doors.
One of the consistent themes I've noticed amongst our issuers is access to capital. And I think one of the questions that people will have for a property developer, which is, a pretty traditional industry, is why would you consider tokenization over other forms of raising capital, like a bank loan or something more traditional? How did you come across the idea of tokenization?
Yes, El Salvador, their banking industry is traditional, and they have focused in the past mostly on credit card loans, on consumer finance. So project finance is something new in the country. So the available the capital available or resources by the banking industry is also quite limited. In capital markets, it's probably it's almost non-existent in the country. So this is an amazing opportunity that is presented to us and to other developers as well, and builders, to access capital that normally wouldn't be available to us, accessing investors around the world through tokenization. I think this is a magnificent way of availing of financing for infrastructure project, which is our hotel project, being the location being on airport grounds.
And why do you think El Salvador needs a new airport hotel? What is the opportunity there?
That's an amazing question. Thank you. We don't have a hotel currently at the airport. The only hotel that is at the airport, which is also an American brand, lesser known, it's about 5 minute. It's a 5-minute drive from the terminal. Our hotel will be its own airport grounds. So as soon as you exit the terminal, you can literally walk 3 minutes, and you'll be at the hotel. And this is, I think this is quite remarkable. There are very few airports around the world where you are able to walk a 2-3 minute walk, and you have these facilities at your service.
Yeah, can you walk us through what the facilities look like? Because I think my experience with airport hotels is the airport hotel in Korea, which is basically just a room inside the airport. There's absolutely nothing there. But your project is much different. Can you talk through what the facilities will look like? Because I think that's a real differentiating factor versus other airport hotels that that I've experienced in the past.
This is a hotel in quasi resort. Our property, our hotel sits on 9 hectares of lush vegetation. So the surroundings are quite inviting for a jog. We'll have an amazing pool. It's a swimming pool, which I designed myself. I lived in Southeast Asia over the last 30 years, and this is one of the reasons that I love this part of the world. And it was designed in the likes of a beach, white sand. Of course, we won't have the white sand, but it will look pretty similar. The materials that we're using will look pretty similar to the white sand entrance into a beach. It will have, as I said earlier, lush vegetation around it. So it'll be a nice place to relax. I think this is something that I haven't seen. I haven't seen yet before. Well, I haven't seen it in other airport hotels. Nice, comfortable rooms, of course. Restaurants. That we have a mall, a strip mall. So we'll have more restaurant choices available to the guests, and it will be a nice, a pretty different experience from what most have experienced in the past.
Yeah, it seems like as more money comes into El Salvador from other parts of the world, and it can be a long trip to get to El Salvador if you're flying in from Europe or like myself from Asia. So it seems to me like a great way to break up that trip if you're doing meetings or you have investments in San Salvador. You take a long flight and on both ways too. You get through that traffic, and then you spend a night or two at the hotel. It seems like a great way to decompress before you either start heading back or jump into your meetings.
Absolutely, and let's remember that most of the flights that arrive from overseas either arrive at night, a lot of them or most of them, and their departure is also late night. So it's an ideal situation where if you arrive most likely you will arrive in the middle of the night. What you want to do is get to bed within the soonest possible time. You'll be able to check into our hotel and be able to rest and be ready for your meetings the following day. And we're also not far from the city. We're a 40-minute ride, and you can choose. You'll be able to choose the time to go into the city when there is less traffic. I think it's a remarkable location.
Yeah, I landed early in the morning and then got right into that rush hour traffic, and it took me way longer than 40 minutes. So it would have been
experience. I promise you that will not be your experience next year.
Oh, that's great. So you mentioned a competitor that's nearby the airport. I'm sure you've done analysis of their occupancy levels. What does the occupancy levels look like at that competitor?
Yes, even prior to the pandemic, this hotel, which has 205 rooms, I believe, they were enjoying I believe it was over 95% occupancy rate, which in the hotel industry, it's unheard of. Being the only hotel which is close to the airport, and not that close because you still need to drive 5 minutes. So we are building 80 rooms, and that occupancy rate I just mentioned was pre-pandemic. Now with the increase in airport arrivals due to tourism growth over the last 2 to 3 years, since Bitcoin became legal tender, the demand for hotel room has increased to levels never experienced in El Salvador before. So we think that 80 rooms, which is what we are building, it's going to be, we're not going to have enough rooms. But as I said earlier, we do have 9 hectares where we can build, which we plan to do in the future after we are done with our first 80 rooms.
And what is tourism like at the moment in El Salvador? I think that since COVID, arrivals and departures are up something like 25 or 30%. Is that the number?
Yes. Prior to COVID, we had I believe around 3.5, 3.7 million arrivals and departures. We are expected to close at nearly 5 million arrivals and departures at this international airport. Once again, we are experiencing tremendous growth in the tourism industry, never seen before in the region. These are exciting times.
Yeah, it really is. So one of the important things for us at Bitfinex Securities is we want to be able to provide a positive impact on the ground, right? To really kind of move the needle economically. And I think your project is one of the projects that will do that. What is your estimate for impact in terms of job creation?
Yes, during the construction period, which would last about a year, less than a year, we will hire about 1,000 people during the construction period. After the hotel becomes operational, we will provide jobs, both direct and indirect, to over 5,000 people. And when I say people, I'm referring to families that will enjoy above minimum wage. The salaries that will be paid at this property will be above minimum wage. So we're a lot of people in the vicinity of the airport families are gonna be benefited tremendously from the operations of this hotel.
Yeah, I think that's the really exciting thing about El Salvador's digital asset regime is the opportunity to connect, builders like yourself and construction companies, property development companies with global capital and really drive the economic growth in El Salvador. I think that's really exciting.
Yes, as I said earlier, we are not just developers, we are owner developers, and we are builders ourselves. So this allows us to efficiently use capital and build once again more efficiently and on time. We have the expertise, and ourselves we hope to be one of the first to be benefited from this the ability to raise capital via tokenization. And I'm very certain there are many more that will be able to access capital and grow the tourism infrastructure, which will have tremendous economic impact in the entire country.
Yeah, that's so exciting. And another interesting thing about the digital asset regime in El Salvador is that it lets you be a little bit more flexible than you can with traditional issuances. So you can have kind of some unique features attached to your issuance. I know that you've come up with some investment incentives. Can you talk about those briefly?
Yes, we have various incentives, starting with a minimum investment of $10,000. That will entitle the investor 2 free nights stay per year at our hotel during the duration of the investment. And that 2 nights translate to approximately 3% of the total investment amount. So on top of us paying an interest of 10%, people will be able as well, investors will be able to enjoy staying with us 2 nights. And it goes up to $1 million. For an investment of $1 million US, the investor will get to stay with us for free for the entire duration of the investment. How cool is that?
That's super cool. It's almost like a timeshare, except you get your principal back and you get 10%.
With timeshares, normally you will end up paying maintenance dues.
Yeah.
Maintenance fees. Not with us. You basically get 3 nights with us, totally free, and you get your investment back, your principal, and 10% interest payable semi-annually for the duration of the investment, which is 5 years in this case.
Another interesting thing about the digital asset regime in El Salvador is the lower minimum ticket size. What is the minimum ticket size on your issuance?
The ticket size is $1,000. So we have made it accessible to retail investors. These type of opportunities are normally not accessible to the public. Normally they are reserved for large investors, institutional investors, or private equity. So with a minimum investment of $1,000, you can enjoy 10% interest payable twice a year for 5 years.
Well, that's great. I appreciate you coming on today, Roberto, and giving us some more color on what you're doing in El Salvador. If people want to learn more about Inverlag or more about what you're doing in El Salvador, where can they go to find more information?
Yes, please visit us at Inverlag Hotels. We have information and pictures on this website, and we also have our contact email. If there are any questions, you can also Google Admission to Trading HISLD to find additional information and documentation on the capital raise page.
Perfect. That sounds good. Well, thank you very much, and look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate it.